Are we ready there, ladies and gentlemen? Let's call the meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones.
Here.
Counselor Geisler.
Here.
Counselor Jelly.
Here.
Counselor LeBlanc.
Here.
Mayor Boucher.
Here. Do we have any announcements from counselors this evening? Okay, we have no public hearings. Correspondence is on file. Mr. Mulder, could you give us a short synopsis of the three presentations at pre-agenda?
Yeah, Trish started off with the first presentation, Trish Krieger, our Utility and Infrastructure Director. And we just looked at the possible five-year plan for all of the potential road and infrastructure projects that we might be looking at over the next 5 years. Second, our auditors were present to give a report on the year ending 12/31/23. We had a clean audit and we were in good financial standing with all of our general fund and all of our major funds. And then finally, David Bull presented a preliminary feasibility study on some options on Lightning Drive in terms of redoing Lightning Drive, extending the sewer trunk line and taking off two lift stations and then extending the trail from Stebner to Levake.
Thank you. Now we have public discussion. This is the time that individuals can address the council about any item not on the agenda. We ask that you limit your time to 3 minutes per person. If the item is on the agenda, we'll have a period of time during that motion for public discussion. If anyone wishes to address the council, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Tony Marino from 3760 Johnson Road in Hermantown. And I'm here to address the council today about a request that I had made to have the culvert at the end of my driveway lowered. But the issue is actually quite a bit bigger than that. You know, the water doesn't even reach my culvert by way of the ditch that was supposedly built in 2020 when the road was rebuilt. The water actually diverts at the fire hydrant into the front of my property and then comes out right before my driveway. So there's improper drainage going through there. I'm planning on getting my driveway blacktopped. The contractor anticipates starting as early as this week. And my culvert has already been coming up over the time since it was installed, as well as the neighbor immediately to the north of me, the Anderson families. You know, they're both raised. And I had requested on May 3rd to have this done and was told by the city that, no, I'm good to go ahead and blacktop, but it's not good to go. It's a problem that's going to end up rearing its ugly head for years to come. It's going to bust up my blacktop for sure. It's also mine and my neighbor Anderson's culverts are the two most problematic culverts on the Johnson Road historically. The only ones that I've ever known of that have consistently needed steam cleaning. There just isn't good water flow through there. There's three different spots the water comes down from the Johnson or from the Alexander Road, and they all hit right at this intersection of driveways. So I just really appreciate, Councilor Geisler took some time out of his weekend and came over and did a walkthrough with me. And he can see pretty clearly what some of the issues are. Back when this whole project to redo the Johnson Road was done, I expressed my concerns about a lot of this stuff, and it was never addressed at that time. And I don't know if it's a matter of record or if it was at some of the meetings that we had on a Monday morning or whatever it was on the street, but I was told multiple times that these issues could be addressed by Public Works, and it's still not. So while it's been a problem, it's going to be worse once I put the blacktop down as far as maintaining a nice investment. So,
Thank you. We did discuss this at our pre-agenda meeting and it's been assigned to the engineer and public works director to look at. So staff will be looking at it very soon.
I would respectfully request that I be able to be present with them at that time. I don't want just a drive-through or something. I would like to be able to point out. I've been living at my current address or the address next to me at the Andersons for 48 years and 20 days. I've got a pretty good feeling about how things work around there.
We'll ask the city engineer to get a hold of you before he comes for a visit.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wolf?
So, I would like to go out there when it's raining to see this water moving.
Don't need to.
And tomorrow it's gonna be raining. And I would, be available at 2 tomorrow if that works for you.
I'm ready.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't need rain. It's running. A lot of the water that comes down there, especially early in the year, I believe is coming from springs and or ponds up above. So it's not always dependent on rain. You know, that rain can raise it obviously. But right now, and as I showed Counselor Geisler last night, there's a lot of water running there right now and you can clearly see the path right now. You know, a week or two, it might be too overgrown to see it clearly, but right now you can still see it pretty clearly.
Okay.
So 2 o'clock tomorrow,
Between 1:45 and 2.
I'll be there.
So I'll just knock on your door.
Yeah, or I'll be waiting on the front porch. I'm pretty anxious about this.
He was waiting for me yesterday.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? If so, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Evening. Name is Chet Luzak. I'm here on the address of 5809 Maple Grove Road. One of the last 3 centennial agricultural farms left in Hermantown. And my concern right now is the water control. Referring back up through the ditch over to Stokey's development he's putting off of Maple Grove Road there. I know this has been looked at, talked about before permits were actually taking place. But I'm hoping to be here tonight to head off something that ain't gonna happen in the future. This winter was a pretty mild winter. Last winter was pretty bad. Couple years ago, I came to Hermantown City Hall here, talked to Eric to try to open up my ditch that goes through my field that drains out the ditch on Maple Grove Road. And everything came back down to Hermantown. The DNR, the EPA, engineer services and stuff, and it was up to Eric. Took a long time for this to happen. I told him it was gonna happen one way or another, but I wanted to talk to you guys ahead of time. Last winter was really bad. We had a lot of water coming down, and what's happening is I'm losing my agricultural field from water runoff. No, Stokey's is putting in this development up there, and I know they do have a couple holding ponds, but from his driveway down, he's adding on at least another 1/3 of a mile, 1/4 of a mile ditching coming down off the west side. That's going to be dumping into this ditch. Not only his water running off, but the water out of the swamp on the opposite side of Maple Grove Road is being culverted underneath Maple Grove Road through my field, back down through Bushes and Wargen's field there too. I'm not sure what their concerns are right offhand, but I'd like to talk about this ahead of time if possible, instead of coming here next year, being hot-headed and having my fields being lost because of water control. There is a Minnesota wastewater protection plan. Correct, Eric? That's out there. Are you familiar with this?
We have, we're part of the MS4 community with, PDS permits, et cetera, that type. So, yes, myself, David Bull, city staff.
Okay, and also on our plan too, they also state too that open soil should be covered up, erosion control. You know, probably within the last year now since he started this, there's been erosion dumping back into the ditch, silt and stuff like this. There is a time period as far as the the erosion control where this open soil should be taken care of on these construction sites. I'm not the one to govern it. I think city of Hermantown should be the one out there governing this. I don't know. Have you been out to the site lately and walked this through?
Couldn't have a conversation, have another staff member that's.
And they're taking care of the erosion control?
Yes, sir. We're working on that, with that.
Yeah, kind of like a year late, but that's good. So anyways, the water coming off of Stokey's property, coming down Maple Grove Road is a concern. Not only that, I'm not sure what's happening on the backside of the property, dumping back down, going west. Not only affecting the backside of our property, but Hermantown's got 40 acres back there too. That's gonna turn into a major wetland. It's already is a wetland somewhat because of water irrigation coming back down off of this property. Now, as far as this project's going, it's kind of in my view site, it's a tail light warranty. You know, once this leaves the property, he doesn't really care where the water goes or what kind of problems it causes downhill. But you take water from one spot, and you put it through the other spots, and it's gonna create other problems. This is the problem that he's developing. I think it's the problem that he should take care of and hold the water on his end. You know, Hermantown has a water tax. That's actually taxed through everybody through Hermantown that doesn't actually use it. Majority of the people do use it. But as far as this water coming off of his property, coming down, I can see it being a problem if we have another winter, like 2 winters ago. Underneath the agricultural law, I could actually put in a wastewater control system. I could actually put a valve up by the ditch, block this water off and control the water going through my agricultural field. I don't want to go there. You know, this could flood out Maple Grove Road. It could flood out other people's problems. It's just going back to the same problem at the beginning, that Mr. Stokey is creating a problem down the line, and this should be taken care of. So hopefully this could be looked at ahead of time instead of waiting until next year or until this property gets flooded out or we have another bad winter. Like I say, that west side coming down, it's dumping right down into the lowlands, and from the lowlands, it's dumping right into the ditch of Maple Grove Road. And it's going down to the other people. That's what I got.
Thank you. We'll ask our staff to look at that. We can't have an answer for you
No,
tonight,
I didn't
but-
expect if I just.
but we'll ask staff to take a look at that.
Okay, yeah. And, they want to get a hold of me, Eric does have my number, can get a hold of me or whatever, and we can talk about it. So I'm just trying to head off a headache.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else either in chambers or online that wishes to speak to the council? Joe, anyone online? Last opportunity for public discussion. If anyone wishes to speak to the council, please start with your name and address. Hearing none, we'll close public discussion and move on to motions. Motion A, motion to approve or deny massage therapist license application for the following effective May 21st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, contingent upon the complete application being received, successful background checks and license fees paid in full. And that is for the well, Kaya Kanowski. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jelly to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. Mr. Mulder, do we need any explanation of this? No. Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Or any public input on this motion? Any public input on the motion to approve or deny a massage therapist license application? Last opportunity for public input. Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. And a late addition to the agenda, item B, a motion to appoint John Stauber to the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill a vacant term. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Shook hands on that one. I interviewed Mr. Stauber today. Counselor Geisler was unable to be there due to some traveling problems. He's very interested. He understands that he would have to keep his own development interests out of planning and zoning.
And I've known him for over 40 years, so I think he will be, he's lived in Hermantown now about 10 years, otherwise previously Duluth, but I think he'll be a good addition to the commission.
He says he has a lot of spare time, right?
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from council?
I would just ask that we could maybe get him seated for tomorrow. If we could get him the packet of information or just,
He's working on it.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
He'll continue working on it if we pass this motion.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on this motion? Any public input on the motion to appoint John Stauber to planning and zoning?
Is this the last vacancy?
No, there's actually one more.
There's one more, and Alyssa said that we have one other candidate now, so.
Last opportunity for public comment on the appointment to planning and zoning. Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Counselor Geisler?
Aye.
Counselor Jelly?
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc?
Aye.
Mayor Boucher?
Aye. Next is the consent agenda, minutes approval or correction of the May 6th, 2024 City Council continuation minutes and accounts payable, approved general city warrants from May 1st, 2024 through May 15th, 2024 in the amount of $1,063,385.32. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Counselor LeBlanc. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jones. Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc?
Aye.
Counselor Jelly?
Aye.
Counselor Geisler?
Aye.
Counselor Jones? Aye. Mayor Boucher?
Aye. Next is ordinances, second reading for ordinance 2024-06. An ordinance amending Title II of the Hermantown City Code by amending the official zoning map of parcels 395-0010, 06630, and 395-0010, 06740. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor LeBlanc. Mr. Mulder, do you want to explain this or should we have Mr. Johnson do that?
Mr. Johnson can do that.
Eric?
Great, thank you very much. These two parcels are associated with Stebner Park. As part of this whole process, the city has been looking at Stebner Park as well as the adjoining property for potential development opportunities for the last few years. The city was approached by the Great Northern Sports Dome people earlier last year for the ability to utilize a portion of Stebner Park for private development. That project was heard at the Planning and Zoning Commission last month and was unanimously approved. As part of this as well, we need to rezone the property so it allows the actual use of the property for the dome. Right now, a public zone property does not allow this sort of use, but the HM or Hermantown Marketplace does. In addition to that, a Hermantown Marketplace does permit a public park as one of the uses as well. So by rezoning this property, it can not only ability to look at this dome proposal, but also still continue as a park as it does today.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on ordinance 2024-06? Any public input on an ordinance amending Title II of the Hermantown City Zoning Code? Any public input on the ordinance in front of us? Roll call, please.
Counselor Jelly?
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc?
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher,
Aye. Next is the first reading of ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance amending Hermantown Code of Ordinances by amending section 850.5, particular speed limits designated. This ordinance will not be voted on tonight, but we will get a short explanation and open for public discussion.
So we are in the process of redoing Hermantown Road this summer. The current speed limit between Uggstead and Midway Road is 40 miles an hour. But when you get to Midway Road going west to Highway 2, there's 30 miles an hour. We're proposing that we would increase it from 30 to 40 from Midway Road to Highway 2.
Thank you. Is there any public input on this ordinance change? Any public input on ordinance 2024-07? Do we have any public input on an ordinance changing the speed limit on Hermantown Road from Midway Road to US Highway 2? Moving on, we'll move to resolutions. Resolution 2024-67. Resolution authorizing and directing the city administrator to execute and deliver League of Minnesota Cities liability coverage waiver form whereby the city does not waive the monetary limits on municipal tort liability established by Minnesota statutes 466.04. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder.
The state legislature allows cities to limit their tort liability, but we could also waive that limit. The League of Minnesota Cities, who we have our insurance with, recommends that we do not waive that liability limit.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2024-67? Last opportunity for public input on the resolution not waiving the monetary limits on municipal tort liability. Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher,
Aye. Resolution 2024-68, resolution authorizing and directing mayor and city clerk to execute and deliver training agreement for use of Essentia property. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor LeBlanc. Mr. Mulder?
Essentia Health has the hospital in Duluth that they're going to be raising in the near future. But before that, the city of Hermantown Police Department and Fire Department would like opportunity to do some training in that vacant building. And Essentia Health was agreeable to that, provided we have this agreement regarding their use of that property.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on the resolution for an agreement with Essentia for the use of their property? Do you have any public input on resolution 2024-68? Roll call, please.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher,
Aye. Next is resolution 2024-69, resolution awarding contract for bleacher system materials and installation services at Fickner Park to SAAFE LLC in the amount of $76,124. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Do we have a second?
Second.
second by Counselor LeBlanc. Mr. Mulder?
So this is the purchase of bleacher systems at the proposed changes to Fickner Park. We purchased this through Sourcewell, which meets the state bidding requirements. And then this is part of that overall Fickner Park project.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council?
My only question would be, we've been buying some miscellaneous things, not miscellaneous, this big purchase, the turf purchase, things like that.
Yep.
At some point, will we get a updated running total of construction costs and all of the
Yes, yes.
things? Is this the last of the Sourcewell purchases?
At this point, yes, it's really, we've addressed the large purchases associated with it.
Because we did the lighting, correct?
Exactly. We're talking a little bit more with the lighting, then we may see a change order, but we're still negotiating with that right now.
Thank you.
We purchased lighting, the playground,
Sure.
turf, and now the bleachers
Thank
and
you.
the skate park.
Thank you. Any other questions and comments from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2024-69? Any public input on the resolution awarding the contract for bleacher system materials and installation services? Roll call, please.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2024-70, resolution approving a special use permit to increase the height of a structure in the Hermantown Marketplace zoning district. Do you have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Counselor Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Jelly. Mr. Mulder?
If Mr. Johnson could explain this,
Eric?
would be helpful.
Great, thank you. This is pertains to the dome project that we talked about a couple ordinances ago. Now that this particular property is slated for HM Marketplace, there's a maximum height restriction of 45 feet in the marketplace when you're south of Maple Grove Road. However, with the issuance of a special use permit, you have the ability to increase the structure height up to 75 feet. Now that SUP does not require any additional requirements associated with it, other than the fact that a public hearing is utilized at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council?
I just have a question, Erica. Do we expect construction to commence this summer on that project?
Potentially see some groundbreaking and pad preparation for that. There's an extremely long lead time for these type of materials. So really anticipate seeing the dome happening probably second quarter or so of next year.
Okay, but we're gonna do the road this year going in, correct?
Right now, staff is still discussing that. We're trying to figure out the best way to coordinate two projects together.
So site work could begin on the project, and then we're just trying to figure out what's the best timing of the road versus the site work and the construction there.
Yeah, because we didn't want to damage a new road with heavy
Yeah.
construction. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next step on this project is, we need to, finalize the plat, exactly how is this lot gonna lay out? And then exactly how that road is gonna connect to that plat to, Maple Grove Road.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Is there any public input on this resolution? If you wish to comment, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
DJ Lottie, 4302 Fair Road, Duluth, Minnesota. I just wanted to say that I'm really excited to work with the city of Hermantown on this project. And we've put in a lot of work with the Hermantown Youth Soccer Association, and it's been a great partnership to this point. We're very excited to provide what we can to this area that is in desperate need of a facility like this. So it's been a great road so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you guys here.
Any other public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2024-70? Roll call, please.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Resolution 2024-71, resolution for local bridge replacement program grant agreement grant terms and conditions, SAP 202-59700. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Counselor Geisler. Do we have a
Second.
second? Second by Counselor Jones. Mr. Mulder?
As you may recall, we've approved a similar resolution earlier this year. At the time, we thought we were going to get up to $900,000. But then when the bids came in very favorable, the state of Minnesota says, well, we're not going to grant you more money than the actual bid. So the grant agreement is for the actual bid amount. And so we needed to revise the resolution for the agreement.
We can't keep it and use it on something
No.
else.
So much for that pizza party, huh?
Yeah,
Truly is a first for everything.
let's hope it continues through the year.
We got bids for the rink next week, 2 weeks.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from council? Any public input on this resolution? Any public input on resolution 2024-71? Any public input on the resolution regarding the local bridge replacement program grant? Roll call, please.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Counselor Jones,
Aye.
Counselor Geisler,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. And Mr. Mulder, do we need a closed session this evening?
You do not.
So we would entertain a motion to recess. Would somebody like to volunteer for that?
Move to recess.
Motion by Counselor Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor LeBlanc. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Nobody